Good afternoon. This is the SSE show. I am Samantha Sui Karma, your host. Today, we will be talking about the cancel culture, and I have invited guests that will share their thoughts and opinion about the issue that we will be talking this afternoon. So let me call in Mr. Altini and Mr. Jose. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you feeling?
Feeling great,
Also
excited.
fine. Thank you.
That's good to know that you are feeling good and excited for today's session. So, cancel culture. Cancel culture is the practice or tendency of engaging in mass canceling as a way of expressing disapproval. And it also refers to the popular practice of withdrawing support for public figures or companies that have said something that is offensive or objectionable. And this is generally discussed as being performed on social media. So we will be talking about the death of George Floyd, which was really a big issue on the cancel culture because a lot of people saw the viral video. So what happened to George Floyd? So George Floyd was an African American man that was murdered by the police during an arrest after a store clerk alleged he passed a counterfeit of $20 bill in Minneapolis. Derek Chauvin, one of the four police officers who arrived on the scene, knelt on Floyd's neck and back for about 9 minutes and 9 seconds. After his death, protests against police brutality, especially towards black people, quickly spread across the United States and globally. As he was dying, he said, "I cannot breathe," which was used as a rallying cry during the subsequent protests. Now, for the questions, I'm going to ask you. First question is, what can you say about the way the police arrested Floyd, Mr. Altini?
Yeah, protocol-wise, and apprehending a violator or a suspected criminal, the police did a great job because they were able to subdue George Floyd. However, the only wrong thing here is that the police forget about humanity. That's all.
Thank you. What about you, sir?
As I have seen the video, I think the policeman, Mr. Joven, applied an excessive force on the neck of George Floyd that caused his death. So therefore, there was a police brutality on that part. Also, Mr. Joven is a white American, and there is an existing habit or existing or a prevailing issue in America about the black Afro-American black who is who are they are regard they are being seen by the white Americans as a low profile American citizen. I think that's all.
Right. I agree on Mr. Altini that there was no humanity about what the police did to Mr. Floyd and to Mr. Jose about the white supremacy. So moving on to our next question, if Floyd was a white American, do you think that the police will act differently?
Well, I think it is a case because we shall not forget that there is, as Sir Jose said, that there is a prevailing racial discrimination or white supremacy issue in the United States. And I think that if George Floyd was white, the policeman should be a little bit of compassionate towards him. That's all.
Okay.
Uh, we know that George Floyd is an Afro-American citizen, and Mr. Chauvin is a white American citizen. So therefore, I agree with Mr. Alteni that there's a racial discrimination on the part of Mr. Chauvin. If Mr. George Floyd was a white American, it would have been different. That's all.
Right. I agree on the both of you that there was really discrimination about the arrest of George Floyd, and if only George Floyd was white, the police would have captured him differently, like less force. And the last question is, what needs to change, and how can we create this change, Mr.
So for us to change, we shall know first the problem. So the problem here is about racial discrimination. And so, in other words, the only solution about racial discrimination is to go back to basic, to go back to the basic understanding about what it is to be human, or in other words, in a simple term, humanity. We should always protect and respect the majesty of humanity. So,
In this regard, I think there should be a change of the training of the policemen, especially in the aspect of discrimination. The white Americans or white policemen, because there are also black American policemen, the white Americans should be given a reorientation on how to handle black Americans, so that these things will not happen again.
Right. So, yes, I also believe that each one of us are all, we are all humans, right? And we should all be treated with respect. And for that, I am going to give you a quote that I'm going to share to you a quote. It's about the golden rule. So we have do unto others as you would have do unto you. So that will be all for this session, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
thank you.
Thank you.